Hello, it's me, Queen Sensitivity, back from the dead. And this is gonna be a tarot reading, pick a card reading called What Would Their Tarot Reader Say About You? I was listening to, I don't know, I forget the name of the person, but I was listening to a reading and I was like, oh, this is so relaxing. And I was like, I wonder, like, what would it be if it was like this instead? So I'm doing one. I was guided by spirit to do this. If you're still listening, now is a good time to go ahead and pick a card. This is gonna be pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. I apologize for the shaking camera. Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Honestly, I don't know how to make the camera not shake with the way it is, so. So pile number 1, what would their tarot reader say about you? I'm picking up a vibe of like Nancy Drew, or like a redhead in a small town. So the redhead from It, or the redhead from Stranger Things. There's something very peculiar about you. However, I feel like to other people you're normal, even though there's something peculiar about you. So for example, Mad Max from Stranger Things, that's what they called it, right? She had all this stuff going on at home, but like to the boys, she was like idolized. She was something that was cherished. They felt like they were weird and dorky and awkward and lame, and they felt like she was like this supernatural prize, but like normal compared to them. She said normal things, had normal reactions. And I feel like that's you. You're like, you might have had like a very harsh childhood, or like you dealt with very adult things very young. You could still be fairly young, and like having to do a lot of like, I don't know, very mature things. And this person, what like their tarot reader would say about you, or at least how they feel about you, is that you're like so much more normal and like cool than they are. And so you do this thing where like you have a very good poker face. You have a very good like composure on the outside. You look very nice. You look very normal in a spectacular kind of way, and you don't show at all what you've been through. Like people would be very surprised to learn, I don't know, you had to raise one of your siblings when you were like 5, like, and they were infants in diapers. Like you had to do very hard things. You play it off very well, and this person admires you for that. And they might even like idolize you to the point where it's kind of annoying, because they assume these things about you. They assume you, 3:33 on the clock, they assume you have it so easy. They assume that life's not hard for you, and theirs is so much harder, but it's actually the opposite, or, you know, equal hardness. So I think before we even pull these, I'm gonna get some, before we even turn this one over, I haven't seen it yet, I'm gonna get some tarot cards. That's what I feel. Well, I keep hearing a song, Never Been Better. It's a song by Orla Gartland and Half Alive, the band Half Alive. It's like, never been better. Never been better. I'm probably very chaotic with how I pick my cards. Let's move these over then. They want to show themselves off. So what would their tarot reader say about you? Let's put that there. And Tower here. Let's shift the Yes, I can. I can do whatever I want. Okay. And then scooch, scooch. Why y'all all the way over here? So we have 8 of coins, 8 of pentacles in reverse. So yeah, what their tarot reader would say about you is that you're very hardworking, and everything you are, everything you've ever had in your life, everything you've ever done, anything anybody's ever given you, you have worked for. And I feel like you might get underestimated a lot. I feel like that's what the reader would tell this person, that they don't really know you truly, because you make it look so effortless, you make it look so easy. So, you know, this happens a lot with entertainers, for example. Let me think of somebody. Let's just say Trevor Noah, the show host. He works very hard, but when he is entertaining people, when he's being a TV host, when he's hosting the Grammys, it looks effortless. It looks very easy. He makes it look very easy and funny. And I feel like people would easily be able to say, oh, I would love his job. All he does is talk for a living. But there's so much that goes into everything, how his hair is styled, his mustache, his beard, his eyebrows, the color of the clothes he wears, the type of clothes he wears, the fabric, the cut, the lining. I feel like you feel like this too, like everything. You feel like nothing you've ever been given has been given freely. You've had to do something, give some sort of effort in order to have access to what you have access to, even if it's a compliment, even if somebody gives you a job or holds the door open for you or buys you a Ziploc bag. They don't know it, but you've given them something. You've set something up in order for you to receive that. And I feel like this person, the tarot reader would tell this person that they need to really see how hard you've worked. Because I feel like there also might be something about this person who they feel a little bit of entitlement, like they deserve access to you. I just heard a click. Like I did this and this and this, or I showed up for this person and why hasn't, I feel like you're a female. If you're not, just switch it around. Why hasn't she called me back? Or why hasn't she agreed to this? I don't know, something like that. And it's like, well, you haven't earned me. Nicki Minaj, she released Pink Friday 2, and what was missing from the album was Roman. I don't know if you know about Roman. Roman is like one of her alter egos. I believe it's her first one. And I saw that she posted on Twitter or something, and she was like, in order for me to release the song with Roman on the track, y'all have to get this song to #1 on Apple Music, because Roman is a very expensive feature. You have to earn it. And that's what I feel like the tarot reader would tell this person, is that they have to earn you. They have to put in the work. And so here, this makes sense. We have this Tower card. They have to be willing to bleed for you, is what the tarot reader would tell them. I forget the name of this movie, but it's a movie with Gabrielle Union. It's with Jamie Foxx. It's with Morris Chestnut, I think that's his name. It's with all these very, very famous people. I think it's called like Two Can Play That Game or something like that. It's one of those like early 2000s movies. And in the movie, they're like, love, it's like they say, love is the same thing as being insane. An insane person would bite this part of their hand until it bleeds. Only an insane person would be able to do that. And if a person's able to do that, that'd be the same thing as like they're in love. And at the end of the movie, that's what they do. Jamie Foxx, he bites this part until he bleeds to show, I love you so much that I'm insane over you. This person is not like that. I feel like they're almost a bit selfish. And I feel like the tarot reader would tell them that, like, they would have to lose a great part of themselves in order to be able to afford you, in order to be able to earn you and deserve you. And I feel like they wouldn't want to hear this. they wouldn't want to hear this, but the tarot reader would tell them that if they knew what was good for them. So we have Awakening, we have Six of Cups. I'm being called to continue flipping these over. What's this one? Six of Swords in reverse. I feel like that one goes upright. And then Nine of Pentacles. We'll keep it like this for now. Remember. And then we have the High Priestess, excuse me. We have Queen of Cups. And then we have the King of Cups. So that's a pair. Yeah. The King of Cups. And then we have the Devil. So what a tarot reader would tell this person about you is that you're good at manipulating emotions. And I want to make sure that you hear what I just said and not make assumptions about what I just said. You are good at manipulating emotions. This doesn't mean that you do this with malicious intent. It doesn't mean that this is something bad, but it's something that you can do. With this hooded figure here representing the High Priestess, and I feel like even with this pair, like I said, the King and the Queen of Cups, and then you have this, which is a piece of art by me that I made. You see how the face is like covered? The face is not in the building, and even here, the head, it's like halfway cut off. I don't know, but you get the gist. And then even with the Devil card here, I feel like they would say to this person, be careful what you wish for. Because if you really want your attention, you watching this reading, there's a cost to you, honey, that's nice, expensive. But I feel like they would say you don't really want this person's full attention, because it feels like this person, whoever would be getting a reading about you, wants your attention. They want your attention, but they would be like, the tarot reader would be like, be careful what you ask for, because when you give people your full attention, you don't half-ass it, you really give it to them. And I feel like you read people really easy. That's what I meant by you're good at manipulating emotions. Maybe manipulation wasn't the best word, even though you can do that. I would say very emotionally intelligent, very aware of other people's truths. They try to hide, and you would really let them have it. I feel like you would be able to tell them very clearly the things that are in their life that they're allowing. Like, I feel like something with their job, you do this, you let people walk all over you, you know, you say this, it's like this person has been asking for your attention. And I feel like the reader would be like, if you want it, just know it comes with a huge dosage of the truth. Perhaps even this Tower moment. It's putting me in the mind of like a person who I feel like you have a lot of silence around. You might be a Scorpio, have Scorpio in your chart. You don't have to though. You'll be silent. You're a silent observer, like a Black Panther. But if somebody really wants your full attention, you know, they're extremely territorial, these creatures, these animals. You give it to them full-fledged and you don't hold back. It's like they keep asking you, like, okay, I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna tell you about yourself. You do this, and this is why, this is how you do this, and this is what this means about you, and you do this, and this is how you do this, and this is what this means about you. You would read them full-fledged. But ultimately, I feel like that what they would also tell this person is that you linger. So maybe you've known this person already for a while, and if not, and if so, either way, I feel like you'll linger with this person for years to come. If you haven't already, you'll linger with them, and they can actually learn a lot from you and become a better person if they get out of their ego and off their high horse and, you know, go past you triggering them, because you do trigger them, they would find a lot of healing from that with this 9 of Pentacles and this 6 of Swords in reverse. I feel like they would have this opportunity to become more materially abundant, more self-aware, more aware of the world and how it works, and to become desensitized to their limits. Because I feel like, you know, everybody has, I feel like, a set growth level that they're willing to reach voluntarily, and then the world kind of pushes them past that threshold. You would be the world in this case. You push people past the, I would say, the bare minimum level of growth, and you go beyond and further than that. But it's like only people who are willing to see themselves that clearly would be able to take that and handle that. So let's see if they could say something to you now with this book, The Nicholas Sparkster John. What would they say? This book is like well read. No, she said. Weren't you listening? She paused as if trying to organize her chaotic thoughts. I don't want to fall in love with anyone, she said. I wasn't ready for that. I've been through that once, and afterwards I was a mess. I know it's different, but you'll be leaving in just a few days, and all this will be over, and I'll be a mess again. It doesn't have to be over, I protested. But it will be, she said. I know we can write and talk on the phone now and then, and we could see each other when you come home on leave, but it won't be the same. I won't be able to see your silly expressions. We won't be able to lie on the beach together and stare at the stars. We won't be able to sit across from each other and talk and share secrets. I won't feel your arm around me like I do now. So this person, I feel like they might have turned down the opportunity to surpass that next level of growth out of fear, out of the need to protect themselves and protect their wounds. And so I feel like that's what they would say to you, is like, even though they want your attention, they want you, it's like they do and they don't. It's like they do want you, like the characters from that book, but they also are refusing it in order to like save ass. That's what they would say to you. Like they'd give you an explanation. Like, it's not that I don't want you, it's that I want you completely, but they don't want you completely at the same time, because if that also means that they would have to face these areas of fear. I hope this makes sense. I hope this helped. If this resonated, please leave a comment, please share, please like, please subscribe. Do all the generous things if this actually resonated with you, because that's the right thing to do. And I want to say thank you if you're one of those beautiful people who have been supporting me all along. May you be very blessed. Like I said, leave a comment and I'll see you soon. Bye. How to? I'm hearing that song, Mr. DJ, jump on a replay. Mr. DJ, want to turn the music up? So, whoever this person is that is getting this reading done, what would their tarot readers say about you? I feel like they're a Rihanna fan, and perhaps they like to dance. Maybe you met them in a atmosphere of dancing, or you have some sort of key core memory with them of dancing. I feel like this is somebody you talk to, like you actively talk to this person, but like y'all don't share it. Y'all don't have in-depth conversations about the feelings. This doesn't have to be a romantic connection, but this is somebody that you like, you see at least, like you still are around this person, or you still talk to this person. There's an open communication, even though it's not an in-depth communication. So if this isn't resonating for you, then this is probably not the pile for you. There's green on this plant next to me. I don't think you can see it, but I feel like this person might have a green aura. They might have green eyes, or they look good in green, or when you met them, they had on green, or there's something about green. Maybe their car is green, their nails are green, their earrings are green. Something green about this person. And I feel like this person's like aura, their energy, they have a very like open throat chakra, open heart chakra. But at the same time, I feel like this is a person who kind of evades being intense. They evade deep conversations. They like to be very shallow and surface level, but I feel like you do like them and you have a fondness for them. And that's perhaps why you're watching this reading, to see like how they perceive you. How do they truly feel? I am feeling, I mean, you could probably say this about everybody, but this kind of escapism personality they have is due to some sort of wound in their childhood, and it feels like very legitimate. It feels very intrinsic to them. It's not one of those wounds where like it could be healed in like a conversation or two and they won't ever go back. This is something that happened early on enough that it's become a part of their personality. And in order to heal that wound completely, it would require them to have a personality change. And I feel like that's part of the reason why they avoid it, because it's like, if I'm no longer this jovial person, if I'm no longer this happy-go-lucky, easy, breezy person, will the people that I consider my friends and the people who are around me still like me, still love me? And I feel like because of this also, this person has like shallow friends, shallow acquaintances. They don't really have anybody to really talk to. And I feel like you want to be one of these people, but this person, like I said, they evade that. They duck and dodge these things. Like let's say for example, you wanted to have like a one-on-one lunch date with them, very casual, but you want to get to know them. They might end up talking to the waiter extra long, or they'll bring up something about another acquaintance that you both know in order to like keep the attention off of them. Yeah, because I feel like that's how Rihanna was with her Pon de Replay song. Initially, she came out with these poppy songs, and then over the years as she got, you know, things happened in her life and she got more comfortable and confident with herself, she was able to make darker, more in-depth music. So let's see. I'm feeling, which deck should I use? I'm getting like several messages at once, so we're gonna use this deck for sure. Yeah, let's just use this one. I feel like this person has a lot to say, and so they're being kind of indecisive, and that's impacting the cards. They also might like the color blue. You know what, I'm also getting that movie, the Runaway Bride movie with Julia Roberts and that very handsome man with the gray hair. And how in the movie, Julia Roberts' character, her favorite kind of eggs were whatever her partner's favorite kind of eggs were. Like, she didn't know what kind of eggs she liked. Oh, look at that one. And so she had to like go and like test out all the eggs and figure out what kind of eggs she liked. And I feel like that's this person. Like they don't really have a favorite, even though they do. I heard this one. Jeez Louise. You see how they like slapping out? Like I told you, this person has a lot to say. So I feel like what their tarot reader would tell them, I feel like first and foremost is that like their dreams and like their like they would tell them about themselves first, like that they need to get stuff off of their chest because they hold in a lot in order to like comfort other people. Like they don't speak their true truth enough in order to be polite and like save face. So I feel like they would tell, the tarot reader would, doing a reading about you to them, would tell them that you can pick up on this. Like you know this, you pick up on this need for them to like let it all go. So make sure you're 18 years or older now, because I'm about to like reference sex. So in some of the books that I read, I would say one of them is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. In that book, there are these very like, there's this guy named Cassian, right? And he's masculine, he's very strong, he's a warrior, but overall he's such a gentleman. He's such a gentleman, even though he can be brutish and like eat sloppily and stuff. He's a gentleman. He respects women, he respects men, he respects everybody. And the main character, Nesta, when they were becoming sexually intimate, she would be like, release yourself to me. Like, I want to see like your wildest self, like the part of you that is untamed, that is savage. I can take it, like, let it go, give it to me. And I feel like that's what you want with this person, and that's what their tarot reader would tell them about you, is that you want to see them completely unraveled, completely unchained, when they're not being proper, when they're not being socially, politically correct, when they're not being kind and sincere and heartfelt, you know? That's what they would say about you. So let's get your dragon one. Look at my little sweater, so cute. We have the Six of Coins, Six of Pentacles. So, what their reader would tell them about you is that you are a stable person and you come from, I would say, a stable background, and you might disagree, but compared to this person, you come from maybe a two-parent home, even if, you know, your parents weren't perfect. Nobody's parents are perfect, but you come from some sort of stability that they don't. And so I feel like the tarot reader would tell them that they can trust you, that you're trustworthy, and that perhaps the parts about you that are like making them nervous to speak their truth is because you represent something that they didn't have. And so it's like, I don't know, I feel like they surround themselves with people who don't really care about them, like I was saying before. It's because that's what they're used to. That's their comfort zone. When they were younger, they probably, I don't want to say probably, they didn't, it's something that happened that was like probably consistent, where like the less real and human they were, the more kindly they were treated. And I feel like you didn't have that. You were allowed to be at least somewhat human. You got to complain about your problems. You got to sleep in sometimes. You got to, you know, make a bad grade or something like that, and it be like okay. They didn't get that. And so it's like your outlook on life makes them uncomfortable and threatens what they know, even though they want you. I feel like this person does want you, but I feel like it's coming from like a very naive place of somebody who's very like emotionally underdeveloped because they've been suppressing for so long. and like keeping a tight lid on things. It's like you keep, what's it, that quote from Mean Girls? It's like, oh, you're not pretending anymore, you're plastic. It's like she spent so long being plastic that that's what she is. And it's like this person has been playing this character for so long that breaking character feels more, the most unnatural than being in their natural state of mind. And you represent the opposite of that. Yep. So what I'm hearing with this already, the tarot reader would tell your person, whoever this is, that if they, what's that song? It's like, if you don't knock it, you lose it. It's like, if you don't put a ring on it, the Single Lady song from Beyonce, if you don't like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Like, you should have, like, I will leave you. That's what they would tell your person. Like, this person, you watching this video, you will leave them. You will leave this emotional connection, platonic, whatever it is, romantic. You will leave it if they don't step up. If they keep being in this hangman position, you will leave them. And you know what's interesting is I'm picking up this from something that similar happened in my own connection with my twin flame. And it's like the moment that I was thinking this, like, I will leave if you don't step up, that's when they stepped up. It's like there's some sort of telepathic connection between you and this person that you probably have already picked up on. I'm just confirming it. And they can sense that you are about to pull away, or that you will leave, you will move on, if they don't come out of this like pondering position where things are very surface level with this Page of Cups. Because I feel like that's where you are right now with this connection. And regardless of how long you've known this person, it's still emotionally in the shallow end. Maybe listen to that song by Bradley Cooper and, you know, Lady Gaga. Okay. Judgment in reverse. They would tell this person that it's basically like the same thing, but like more like about life. They could have a very happy outcome with you, but only if they're willing to give up the life they know. If they're willing to give up and be vulnerable in a way that allows them to be ugly, to be mean, to express their troublesome aspects about themselves, the part of themselves that are jealous, the parts of themselves that is greedy. This person, they've been taught from a young age, like, what's a sin and what's not a sin. 3303. They've been taught this. I don't know if they come from like a small rural town or something like that, but they've been taught that very well. And it's like, so there's all these parts of themselves that they associate with like the devil, or these parts of them that are unacceptable. It's unacceptable for them to be impolite. It's unacceptable for them to be, I don't know, like nasty with their words. And I feel like they have these, they might say the same thing about you, even though they love how you are. Like, you might be very straightforward, you may be very blunt, and they love that, even though it contradicts with what they were taught when they were younger. So let's just say, for a wild example, that maybe they were taught when they were younger, oh, guys shouldn't wear nail polish. And let's say you are a guy that wears nail polish. They love that you wear nail polish, but it contradicts with like these deeply rooted thoughts and opinions that they got from other people. Wow. The Tower card came out in pile 1, and so did the Judgment card. So that's interesting. We have Ace of Swords. Why do I feel like this is never even? Get on my nerves. Okay, so yeah. What the tarot reader would tell them about you, about this connection, is that there is going to be Like, if they continue with how they are, being passive and like being very shallow and not opening up, there is going to be an ending that they're not going to like. And it's going to be because they didn't speak up. It's going to be because they didn't speak their truth. It's going to be because they didn't follow their intuition. This diviner that I love, and I talk about her all the time, but she says it's about divine masculines often, and that's divine masculines within every person, but also people, you know, divine masculine people. If you don't speak up when it's time for you to speak the truth, she says, then you're lying. You're lying. If you don't take action when you know you're supposed to be taking action, that's an action in itself against the right thing. You're taking the wrong action. You being stagnant is not an option when it's divinely, because this is an ace. That's divine. That's spirit. That's God. That's source. Look at this lipstick on my hand. This is divine inclination. And I feel like the reader would tell them, like, this is where you're headed. And this is going to be the result. You're going to have a falling out with this person. They're no longer going to be an option for you. And you're going to have missed a marvelous opportunity in your life because you didn't have the courage to speak up. So let's get a quote. What would they say to you right now if they could? He left the kitchen. Alone, I looked around. The house was decorated in that traditional beach way. Lots of bright-colored wicker furniture, lamps made with seashells, small statues of lighthouses above the mantel, pastel paintings of the coast. Lucy's parents had owned a place like this, not here, but on Bald Head Island. They never rented it out, preferring to spend their summers there. Of course, the old man still had to work in Winston-Salem, and he and the wife would head back for a couple of days a week, leaving poor Lucy all alone, except for me, of course. Had they known what was happening on those days, they probably wouldn't have left us alone. So the word alone was mentioned 3 times in those paragraphs. So I feel like what this person would say is that they feel alone, but they also don't feel alone when they're with you, and that they're afraid of being alone, like if you decide to leave them alone. So I'll repeat it again. This person feels alone, even with all these people or acquaintances or whatever they have going on. They don't feel alone when they're just with you. And they're afraid of you leaving them alone. Yeah, and then returning back to that loneliness that happened before they knew you. So this has been your reading, pile number 2. Please comment, subscribe, thumbs up, share if you resonated with this. I would really appreciate it. And especially, like I said, if this resonated and you got something from this, I really appreciate the support. You are welcome to donate. You're welcome to DM me for personal readings or email me for a personal reading. I would love to do it for you. And I'm sorry, I'm very like stuffy. I'll see you next time. Bye. Pile 3. I'm hearing that song, baby boy, you stay on my mind, fulfill my fantasy. In my dreams. That song, Baby Boy, with Beyonce. Huh. Let's see, which deck are we gonna use? We'll use this one. Before we get started, I'm just gonna, talk about a little bit about that. So I feel like, so in that video, there's this dance breakdown that Beyonce does. It's very iconic where she's in the sand and there's these cool transitions. And she looks, what I always think about it when I watch the video is that she's so like technically good at dancing. Like how she hits everything. And I think I learned later on that she learned that choreography. It's because I watched Jocelyn Hernandez and she pronounces it choreography. Anyways, she learned that choreography, Beyonce, I think, like on set. She learned it on set and like she changed a little bit. Like that's how good she is. Like she's so like good. It's not even like looking at her like as she's sexy and she's cool. I look at that video and I'm like, she's so good. Like I could never do that. I can never hit those lines with her hands and throw the sand in that way and be so focused and talented. And I feel like this person that is supposedly getting a tarot reading about you, that's how they feel about you. Like you're not just beautiful, you're not just sexy, you're not just, you know, smart, you're very talented. Like you have something about you. You do things that nobody else can do. You do it with such elegance, you do it with such high quality, that they're just like mesmerized and captivated by you. And I feel like because I'm specifically mentioning this music video, this person likes to go and like watch videos of you, and I don't think it's in a creepy way. I feel like they just really like how you are and how you do things and how you say things, whatever you do. If you're, I don't know, a tarot reader, you do some sort of podcast, something you do professionally that involves videos, I feel like this person has some of them memorized. They've watched them so many times, or they replay back things that you said in their mind, or things that you did. I feel like there's something very like Yoda about you, very poetic about you. You're like a mosaic come to life. And I feel like any interaction that they've had with you, it stuck with them. You stick with them. Specifically like your brilliance in how you live life, your brilliance and your magnificence. Yeah, that's how they see you. I feel like that's how Jay-Z sees Beyonce. Like he sees her as just this genius person before he even sees her as like a sex symbol, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's continue. These are a Fawahodie cards that I made myself with the major arcana of tarot. Let's give it a nice little shuffle. I feel like this person, I feel like they might be very nervous. Like I have like a headache now. I didn't have a headache before. Like you give them physical symptoms. Physical symptoms. And see, like for this reading, I chose, sorry about this shaking camera. I chose this handmade deck. Like I made these cards. I painted these. I selected this African Adinkra symbol, which means freedom. Like it's very handmade. This person, how they feel about you, it's not how the generic person feels about you. Because I feel like you're very beautiful, pile number 3. I feel like you're just beautiful. And like you get compliments all the time. Like the general public thinks you're beautiful. The general public thinks you're very attractive and probably even smart and well put together. This person loves you. And it's in a very unique way where they see you in a way that nobody else sees you. And like to go back to the Beyonce reference, it's like she's admired by so many people. So many people love her. So many people genuinely love her. I feel like, you know, her close family, her acquaintances over the years, I feel like they genuinely love her. And that's just besides her millions of fans. But it's like only Jay-Z loves her in like this very particular way that sees all of her put together. That's how this person loves you. And I feel like there's something 4-4-22. This person is quiet about it. And I feel like it should be illegal for people who feel like this about a person to be quiet about it. And I feel like it's because of something on their end. Like it's something, I'm hearing inadequacy. That's their word. I feel like I don't want to call a person inadequate, but that's what they're saying. Like, there's an inadequacy on my part where I'm not the perfect match for you in that way yet. It's what I'm feeling. Like they have like some growing up to do and they know it. Okay. So let's get, what would a tarot reader say about you to them? What would their tarot reader say about you? So I'm feeling to also get these goddess cards. I don't want to make this too long, but I also want to be as authentic to the energies that I'm picking up as possible. This is the best way to do that. And I feel like I can't leave out these cards because this is how they see you, as like this goddess, but also you're so human to them in this very unique way. And it's just like nobody else can do it like you do. It's like, that's how they feel. Like one more. Look, even with the little bees, the queen bee. Yeah, 6 of Cups. Yep. So their tarot reader would tell them that you're the one. You're the one. You're the one they come home to. You're the one that they end up with. But even though it infringes on them, it's like it's in their power to make this happen. It's like only if they say yes, only if they believe in themselves, only if they trust themselves to love you like you deserve to be loved. But they would tell them, you are this person's end game. You're the end game. You know, when the birds fly south, they have to fly north again. That's you. I want to say, because I'm hearing this now and I'm feeling this, if you two are not in communication, when I don't think you are, even if you are, there's some sort of separation happening. That's what it is. It's a separation. It's not an ending. It's just like these are the intermediate chapters in between. It's not over. If you think it's over, get out of here. It's not over. And I feel like this is also what their tarot reader would tell them. I feel like you both are under this, like, I don't know, assumption that it's over between you because this chapter ended. It's not over between you. Especially if snakes and dolphins are like, and dragons were a big part of this connection. Hell no. So we have, this one is hard to see, the Tower card in reverse. So yeah, I'm already getting a message from that. And then the Devil card, which was in reverse. This is the other Devil card, and that's the other Tower card too, if I'm not mistaken. So what they would tell, I feel like it's like this, they would tell them this connection is destined for a rebirth. Because I feel like this is how it ended. So with this deck, I made original Major Arcana cards, and then I made a second other Major Arcana card for each individual Arcana. These are both the other Arcana. So it feels like this connection ended, the separation started because of a Tower moment with Devil energy, but it's going to start from that as well. It's going to start from some sort of rebirth. Destined ending. Yep, don't force divine protection. It was destined. The ending, the chapter closing was destined. That's what they would tell this person, because I feel like this person harbors a lot of like self-guilt, like a lot of guilt, like it was my fault, and it could have been, but it's like, don't get stuck in that. You don't let it chain you. This was also meant to happen. It's like you can't have the happily ever after without have coming to head with this collision, because this collision, this ending is what rebirths this. You know how some forests benefit from fires because only some seeds can release in, you know, certain temperatures. It has to be hot enough for these seeds to come out of their little cocoons, and then that's when they get planted, and that's when they're able to grow into these big trees. It's like if the fire hadn't happened, those seeds would have never come out. That's how it is with this connection. So it's like, even though, you know, their tarot reader would tell them, even though you harbor all this shame, it had to happen for both of you. For both of you to come out of your cages, for both of you to grow, for both of you to learn something from this, so it wouldn't be hindering you. It's like you both reached a point, and I'm talking from their tarot reader's perspective, it's like you both reached a point, you loved each other so much. This is such a grandiose love that there's so many layers to it. And you reached the point where it was time for the new layer. It was time for the new launch. And this is what it required. It required the separation, but you both didn't want it. I'm also here, and they would tell them that this relationship was like destined. It was planned. You both planned this before you came here. And you might not understand it now. You might not even accept it now, but that's what happened. Like, you even planned for this, knowing that you both would always end up back together. So I feel like they would also tell them not to worry, but also to make haste. Like, there is more for you to do, but also, no matter what, this was destined. Yeah, make a choice. Tipping. More control than you think. Yeah, that's what they would tell them. You have more control than you think. Like, the moment that you decide, like, I'm done punishing myself, let's go be in love again, that's the moment you get to be done. That's what they tell this person. Like, of course they still love you. Of course they love you too. Come on now. We have the Empress. This is the original Empress, which was in reverse, feeling guilty, insecure. Oh, no, this is the other Empress. Sorry, this is the one I forgot to put a line under it. This is the other Justice card. Caught in past scenarios, drama needing calm. So what they would tell your person about you is that you're still healing from this, and you still have insecurities about whatever this happened, maybe about something that this other person said, that your person said. They would tell them that you still are caught up in it, that you have not moved on. Because look at this, 2, 3. So I feel like your person might feel like they might have fear that you've moved on, that you don't want them, that it's over, it's ended, you've met somebody else. Their tarot reader would tell them, no, you haven't. No, they haven't. This person, pile number 3, you have not moved on. You still feel it. You still are wounded by what happened, and you're still remembering the memories. You're still savoring them. You're still hurting over them. You're still caught up in it. You're not moved on. You're still there. We have the Moon, the other Moon in reverse. A lot of reversals in this deck. Awaiting results, fearful of time, hidden ease. They would tell them, yeah, they would tell them that you watching this video are still waiting for them to do something, to make a move, to come back, and that you're afraid of too much time going by, of you being alone. I don't feel like you've moved on and been with anybody else. And I feel like you're afraid of like spending years just alone because this person, your true love, decided that you weren't worth stepping up for. And the original Tower card. A Tower card has come up in every pile today, and it's twice in yours. You have both of the Tower cards. Wow. Rest, fate, journey, arrival. I feel like their tarot reader would tell them that you do believe in fate and you believe in second chances, but like I said, you're also afraid of like wasting too much time being hung up over them, and that you're not afraid of making your own risk and taking leaps in your life in order to move on from them. Like, you haven't moved on from them yet, but you're willing to, I don't know, go on blind dates, go on double dates, try out new places, go to new things, try to meet new people, get more people's numbers, start conversations. You're not afraid to try to move on. And I feel like they can pick up on this energy. Like if the tarot reader said that, they'd pick up on this energy and like it would light a fire under their ass for them to like move towards you once more again. That's what they would tell them, like you're in the process, or you don't mind sparking action to make fate happen for you. What's it called? That quote, the fate is not in our stars that we are underlings, but in ourselves. No, the fate is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. I think that's the quote. Something, I think it's from Shakespeare, and it's from that movie, The Fault in Our Stars. It's basically saying like, you don't believe in putting everything up to, oh, it's in the stars, it was written to be. You also believe in we also create our own realities. We create our own magic. We create our own fate. And they would tell your person that you're not afraid to make your own fate. I'm feeling one more card. Lost clarity, seeking sanctuary, healer. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they would also tell them that it's okay for them to seek sanctuary, to seek healing, and to seek help, and to be vulnerable in whatever way they need in order to heal enough to feel confident enough to approach you again. Aphrodite. Yeah, I told you, this person thinks you're so beautiful, and I feel like you are. You're so beautiful. You're so magnetic. Everybody wants you. Everybody can see that. Everybody sees you're beautiful. Even with this pomegranate, I just feel like abundance and like womb. You're just abundant. Pearls, you come, even when you're put under stress and pressure, you just look amazing. Like Beyonce, like she works so hard, and like she still always looks, her product is always such high quality. That's how you are. That's how they see you. IDT creation. Wow. I feel like, what is there to say? Like, you are the empress to them, full blown. And I feel like they also know, like, in the stars that y'all were written, and y'all might have like, what's it called? Like crisscrossing zodiac signs, like across the chart, you know, complementing zodiac signs. But I feel like they would say, even if y'all don't, they don't care. They want you. They feel like you're just destined for them. Boundaries. They also feel like you have very good boundaries, and I feel like you do. And they know that they can't just come to you with anything. They have to come correct. And I feel like this is also why they're like second guessing themselves and their approach to you, because they're like, I need to make sure like I'm not coming empty handed. I'm not coming with my old bullshit again. I need to come like, you know, to approach a tigress, you have to be a tiger. That's what I feel. So let's get, if they could say something to you, what would it be? Ooh, part 2. I feel like this is very telling. This is very telling. If they could say something to you, they would say, I want a part 2. They want a part 2. They want a second start. They want a new beginning with you. I feel like I don't know which one to go. Let's go backwards. 12. 12 might be an important number. Hours later, on the first lonely night back in Germany, I read the letter again, reliving our time together. It was easy. Those memories had already begun to haunt me and sometimes seemed more real than my life as a soldier. I could feel Savannah's hand in mine and watched as she shook the ocean water from her hair. I laughed aloud as I recalled my surprise when she rode her first wave to shore. My time with Savannah changed me, and then the men in my squad remarked on the difference. Over the next couple of weeks, my friend Tony teased me endlessly, smug in the belief that he's finally proven right about the importance of female companionship. It was my own fault for telling him about Savannah. Tony, however, wanted to know more than I was willing to share. While I was reading, he sat in the seat across from me, grinning like an idiot. Tell me again about your wild vacation romance, he said. So I feel like what they would tell you is that they've been talking to you about somebody they trust. And then this person has been encouraging them to like be romantic and to pour their heart out to you. So I feel like that's something that they had a hold up with. Like maybe they didn't, with this blue and this blue here, like maybe they didn't tell you how much they cared about you ever, but they did. and maybe they show it through small actions. And then it also says here, back in Germany, my first lonely night back in Germany. So I feel like for somebody watching this, this person has returned back to your hometown or something. They're back in the area where you are, or they're about to be back, or they plan to be back. There's something with that. But yeah, you changed them, is what they would say to you, and they haven't forgotten, and for them it's still not over, and that there is somebody in their corner encouraging them to take this stride and take this step in being with you. So if you resonated with this, please feel free, feel welcome to leave a comment, to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. You're welcome to DM me or email me if you would like a personal reading. I'm very grateful for everybody who has been supporting me. These readings take a lot out of me. I probably need to go take a nap for 10 days. But yes, thank you so much. Many blessings to you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.